Hello, everyone. My name is Mr. Big T Anderson, and today we're going to do a reading of Take a Bow by Laura Schiller. And this is from the Star Trek Enterprise fandom. So, yeah. I mean, when you have a thought going, and it's like, oh, I've done this enough times, and just train crash. Anyway, for those who don't know, and you're new here, A, thank you for listening to this. B, subscribe button's over there. I'm sure you go hit it. It may do something. There may be fireworks. There may be candy in there. And we all love that. Anyway, if you're new to these fanfiction readings, these are not my personal writings. I am not taking credit for them. I am just reading them. I'm just schmucky duck reading them. And in this case, Laura Schiller is the one who has written it. So there'll be links down below to both the author page and to the story page. If you want to give a critique or read more of the author's work, you can do so that way, and we'll get to it. This is Take a Bow. Jonathan Archer clenched his teeth in silent frustration as he walked away from the brig. A smug-looking Retellian named Plyn sat there with his ankles crossed, refusing to say a word about his missing partner, the princess they'd kidnapped, or Trip, who had gone missing along with said princess. For all John knew, they could have vanished down a black hole. His chief engineer, who was also his best friend, and an alien diplomat whose disappearance could cause a crisis of interplanetary proportions, all because that damn pirate refused to give them their ship's warp frequency. It was enough to make even the most modern and civilized of captains long for the days of the thumbscrews and the rack. Wait a minute. He came to a sudden stop in the hallway. Following 3 steps behind, almost bumped into him. "I have an idea," he said. "Ever hear of good cop, bad cop? The interrogation technique?" "Exactly." "You mean to extract the Retellian's warp frequency with a ploy obtained from Commander Tucker's film collection?" T'Pol's disdainfully raised eyebrow did not faze him. "It'll work. These guys are cowards. That much is obvious. Why else keep their victim in a stasis pod so she'd never see their faces, and they practically licked Tripp's boots when they thought he could help them. We won't need to lay a finger on Plyn to intimidate him. Suggestions will be enough." T'Pol tilted her head, seeming to consider the idea. "He doesn't know anything about Earth besides what we told him," John continued, thinking out loud. "For all he knows, we could be a brutal police state, something straight out of George Orwell. I could put him through a kangaroo court scene. We've already reviewed all the evidence. This is nothing but a formality." He could feel a fierce grin tugging at his lips as he imagined the pirate's gray face turning even grayer with fear. "And then you, our highly civilized Vulcan, offer to protect him from the barbaric humans if he'll only cooperate." "You are enjoying this," T'Pol accused. "I'll enjoy getting Trip back," he retorted. "If anything, I should play the bad cop." "What?" He rubbed his ears to make sure he'd heard correctly. "You?" "It would be more suitable." She looked up at him with that cool, stern look that had irritated him so much when she'd first come aboard. "What? You don't think I can't be scary?" The half-joking question slipped out before he could stop it. I do not doubt you could." Was she being sarcastic? But when the Retellians first met us, you were their gracious host, and I was a neutral observer. It would suit their perception of us better if we continued that dynamic. That does make sense. But you shouldn't have to. Catching her eye, he swallowed the protest he was about to make. He had the absurd wish to protect her from having to play a role that was so unlike her, but he should know her better by now. If she wanted to do this, she would. Besides, she did have a talent for acting. She tricked those Ferengi pirates very neatly last year by pretending to be a courtesan. "Should I wear my formal robes, do you think?" she asked casually, as if referring to a change of clothes for a dinner party. He remembered. She had worn them the first time he'd set eyes on her, blending in flawlessly with Saval's entourage until her voice demanded his attention. Cold, haughty, alien. So different from the way he saw her now. "Definitely," said John. "Go full Vulcan High Command. You'll scare the socks off him." This time, the delicate arch of her eyebrow was almost like a smile. "Under the circumstances, Captain, I will take that as a compliment." You're enjoying this too, aren't you? He said, smirking. I am merely prepared to do whatever necessary to retrieve Princess Kitayama and Commander Tucker. Whatever you say, milady. He folded himself in a deep, dramatic bow. When he came up, he saw her staring at him in a speculative manner. You should include that, she said. Good idea. Just remember who the captain's around here, Sub-Commander. Of course. She brushed smoothly past him to precede him down the corridor. And here she comes now, said John, keeping a straight face with such effort of will that it would have done credit even to a Vulcan. Plinn, sitting on a cold metal chair in a shadowy room, was practically shaking in his boots. John got up and elbowed him to do the same. If he weren't a thief and a kidnapper, John could almost feel sorry for this man. Sunlight was his first thought. Gold silk, orange linen. Even in the dimly lit room, ripples of cloth caught the light and glittered as she moved. Soft rustles accompanied each step. How many layers of fabric were in there anyway? If he touched her, just one corner of her long belled sleeves, would it feel as smooth and slippery as it looked? It was ridiculous, he thought dizzily, for her robes to have this effect. They covered her from neck to ankle, more so in fact than her regular uniform. But maybe that was the idea, to let the viewer's imagination do its work. She meant to look mysterious. After all, mystery frightened people. Too bad it had the opposite effect on John. As for her face, once he dared to look into her eyes, he found them remote as the stars. His plan was definitely going to work. She was terrifying. But my God, she's beautiful. When John bowed this time, it was mostly to hide his face. Default began prowling around Plinn like a tigress sizing up her prey. She took notes on her pad, asking him about his culture's post-mortem rituals. That macabre little detail was a touch of genius, and coldly shot John down just as he meant for her to do when he tried to be the good cop. But he hadn't expected her to stand so close, her hand tilted up, the hem of her robe nearly touching his shoes. And for there, 1 second, while Plinn wasn't looking, John could see his own first officer looking out of those bright hazel eyes. A spark of mischief jumped between them. Damn, we're good. Alright, that was Take It Bow, and DePaul is going to be a harder voice for me to hit, just because I have to try and raise the octave while still being deep enough, I think, to sound Vulcanish, sound kind of cool and aloof. So yeah, that's kind of a difficult one for me. But yeah, that was Take It Bow. If you liked it, you guys know what to do. Links down below. Hit them. You know, show the author some love, show the story some love. If you like how I did it, show a comment. You know, if you know someone who'd like this, link them to, well, I say video, but you guys know what I mean. Link them this story on YouTube. This reading. There we go. And with that, I hope you guys have a good day. Ta-ta.